Hello everyone, this is Ananya Jha from Team Espousal from India. The day is finally here where I get to welcome you all to the world's first ever virtual wedding expo, Espousal International 2022. The next 3 days will be quite exciting and memorable for everybody who is a part of this event, and I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Mr. Samit Garg had given an awesome keynote address this afternoon to kickstart the first day here at Espousal International. And now we are going to start off with our very first panel discussion of the day on beating the budget blues. We have with us Anita Makharia from India, who will be moderating the session. She is a very talented, successful wedding planner and the founder of Shubhkamnaye. We have Mahendra Gangadharan from India. He is the founder and managing director of Neferrtiti Weddings and has over 30 years of experience in the wedding industry and specializes in destination weddings and event coordination. Next, we have with us Shreya Mistry from India. She is the founder of 60 Seconds Hospitality, Logistics and Weddings and has over 10 years of experience in the industry. And finally, we have with us the amazing Ariel Chen from China. She is the founder of Reve events and is popularly known as your fairy godmother. So, all the best to this panel, and over to you, Anita. Hi, Shreya. Hi, Ariel. How are you guys doing today?
Hi Nanya, hi Ariel.
Hello, everyone.
How are you doing?
You're doing fine.
Thank you
I
so
am,
much.
I'm doing okay because today is actually my last day of getting out of quarantine. So yes, I'm
Ah,
good. Yes.
great. So, the other two panelists, Anita and Mahendra, sir, will be joining soon. So, we're just going to, yeah. Uh, okay. Just so, as you're aware, we're going to be talking about beating the budget blues. So, what is your take on this topic to start with, Shreya?
I think beating the budgets is not the term I would use. I
Hmm.
think we should leave within the budget because we already know the numbers that we are looking to spend around. And we need to build around it and within it rather than getting into what we like, what we dislike is one part of it, but the budget is, of course, the most important part of it. So
Right.
that would be my understanding here.
And what about you, Ariel?
Well, I think that beating the budget is like Shreya was talking about, is you're not really beating it because that means you're actually going to be adding more budget to it. So it's more like controlling your budget more
Right.
like efficiently. So I would probably still use the word controlling or managing. I think managing would be the better word. Yeah.
Right. Yes, that actually makes sense. So, how do you create a budget like efficiently? So, what about you, Ariel? What do you think? How do you create a budget so that the couple and the families they don't have the budget blues in the first place? Am I audible?
Yes. Are
Okay.
you asking? I'm sorry. I
Yes.
was like,
Yes.
well, I think that, usually when a client comes to me or the buyer or the groom comes in, I would tell them to, once they tell me the numbers, I will
Mhm.
actually give them like a 25% of leeways. So I won't necessarily say that this is the budget and then you cannot add because that's not usually how it works. Because what they expect and what can actually happen usually is a huge gap. So what I would tell them is like, if you have a certain amount of budget, first thing you have to add it up because there's so unexcited budget when it comes to like, especially destination weddings. So
Right.
especially now that after pandemic, it's crazy. Everything is not everything fluctuates and is more
Right.
than ever. So, usually I would just tell them for like, to up it a little bit for
Okay.
25%. Yes.
Great. So we Anita and Mahendra have joined us. So Anita, over to you. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, Mahendra sir. And yeah, take it forward.
Hello.
Hi, Anita. Hi, Mahendra.
Good
Hello, everyone.
morning.
We can't hear you, Anita.
Yeah, yes, am I audible now? I just went on mute all
Yes.
of a sudden. So, hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Warm welcome to Eva and Mahendra ji. I've known Mahendra ji personally for a long time now, and I'm very excited and so I hope you've all been having a nice day and looking forward for a wonderful, productive weekend. Yes. So I'm sure Ananya has already given a brief introduction about all of everybody out here. Yes.
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 So Shreya, a little more about what you do. Shreya?
Sorry, I lost you. Yes.
Yeah, am I? Yeah, I just wanted to hear a little more about how do you manage your budgets?
How we manage our budgets, we first understand what the client requires, because if you really see, the clients these days come up with the Pinterest ideas, from the ideas that have come back from the past, from the present, the weddings they have attended, the events they have seen. So basically, I think budgets can only be maintained when your client has a clear idea of what exactly they want, and then you play around on what are their priorities, because their priorities are what you want to first fit in into the budget.
I get you. That's well said. That you need to understand what is the client, what is it that they require. I would like to ask Mahendra ji on this. Ki, Mahendra ji, according do we look for an element which is do you how, when you're choosing certain elements, okay, on advising the budget, how do you take this discussion forward with your client on, do you guide the client for the budget or do you tell them to first plan how do you work on this?
Hi, everybody. I think I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I think all know when we get a client to make the best use of a client. I mean, being very open, you need everything is, besides passion, is money making, is very commercial. That's how we do business. Understand a client, you know exactly what the client wants to spend. You look at a client, you know what budgets he's, okay, oh, it's over 30 years for me, and I know what he's got in his mind. Okay, it's all a mind game what we play with clients. Okay, and the client says luxury at no cost. Then you understand that he's got all the money. Okay, he's
Very,
just trying
very
to see
well
how he can
said.
just pull in the best
Luxury at no
budgets
cost.
out of you. So we basically ask the requirements are when you're working at budgets, we basically ask him what his budgets are. Yes, absolutely. I mean, today everyone trying to make one and the utility. I can say utility of one's services and not trying to pay you. Okay, irrespective whether he's um, he's funded or he's not funded, but everybody wants to play a game to try to see how is you. We understand what we do more than the client, we understand the requirements. Most of the requirements are given by the bride parents. The bride requires large. Today's generation is very into the last requirement. So once you have a requirement, there is one large requirement, and when you're looking at the images of that, so there's obviously calls for a budget. Budgets are quite large. So we understand the client, and then we try to play with budgets. We tell you if you're looking at this destination, you have a budget of so and so. How we work on the budget part of it. But nobody really gives us budgets. Is that it's you who create a budget, because clients really don't give a budget. They just try to see how to take a budget out of you. And once you you exactly what when you know how much time is going. You try it, and they add or delete. If they have all the budget. And then what are your priorities? You want your priorities in a wedding? One, venue, food, the best, your liquor, your bar, your decor, and your artists. You have extra budgets. It goes on to artists, entertainment. Today I think we all know that photography is taken the next level, and photography is as expensive as a huge budget. But what you want a lot to a wedding planning to create.
Get that. Very well said. Glamour, glitters, extravaganzas all come at a cost. And I understand from what Mahendraji is trying to tell us is that it's very important that for the client understands what are the requirements. Based on the requirements, there are so many options available. And that is where we can guide them at the later step. So over to you, Ariel. I would like to understand from you, how do you create your wedding budget efficiently?
I think that, as I was saying earlier, when it comes to the topic, we were saying about beating, the budget blues. But then it's more of like, the different rephrase of what I was trying to say is to managing expectations, managing budgets, because, Shreya was talking about, when clients, brides, just looking at Pinterest and then they want certain things, but especially when we do destination weddings, weddings in India might cost differently in weddings in, I don't know, in Paris, in England. So expectations can change because the price. What you expect to be luxury might not be exactly luxury in a different country. So I think managing expectation is very important for us wedding planners to tell the clients to be realistic, because the gentleman here was saying that creations and also decor can be unlimited. Comes with artists and bars. Everything can be. It's like a whole. There's no unlimited. You need to be realistic of what's possible within your budget and what's not possible within your expectations. So expectations and budgets are coming hand in hand. So yeah, that's what I usually do. And then when a client comes to me, I usually would tell them to, raise the bar already 25%, and then we can talk. Because usually they want, it's a mind game, like he was saying that, they were usually wanted to test the water, and that's not what I usually do. I'm very straightforward. I'm a very, very busy person. I don't want it to talk about back and forth. So 25% more, and then we can talk. Yeah.
So that's very, very clear from Ariel that, she does not have time to go around the bush, and she knows what her expectations are, and she knows should be the client's expectations when they're getting in touch with Ariel Reve. Now, I would like, what is very important is whenever you are doing a budget wedding, looking at when you're planning the budget wedding, the first step should be that, because enchanting decors, beautiful wedding attires, expert catering services, and like how Mahendraji said that the importance of photographies and videography, and then your people forget to allocate some amounts towards smaller elements like your wedding stationery, which comes as a bigger element in the due course. and later a lot of these gifts which comes with hefty price tags. So Shreya, tell me one thing, do you actually guide all your clients also on the possibility of the other components, because majorly four components are generally spoken about. One is your venue, second is your catering, third comes your decor, ambience and light, sound, etc., artist management's included there. Finally comes your photography, videography. So do you actually guide them and tell them, talk about the trousseaux, do you talk about the wedding attires which goes into it, which can be planned accordingly, or the kind of guest lists they should be going ahead with, what kind of shopping they should be doing?
Yes. So, Anita, what we basically, our forte or what we specialize in is a guest management, which is a hospitality, RSVP, logistics, jewelry management, which no one has been doing in the country so far. So, that is all that we do. So, whenever we ask them to plan a budget, we say, when you give us an X amount, we can only work on the 85% of it, because there are last minute things which always come up, which at least take 10 to 15% of your budgets. Like we just said, they do not count their tires, they do not count their jewelries, they do not count a lot of things, like makeup artists these days do not come cheap. So all of those things are never really calculated or amounted for. So we do need to tell them that when we are talking about weddings, events, we do not only look into these four particular things. We have a bigger perspective, and once we get into the planning, every day a new thing comes up. So that we 100% have to tell the clients, which I'm sure they are some of them are not aware about.
I agree. I mean, financial decisions are very complicated if you don't know how to do it in the right way. And these days, not only the parents, but even the groom are equally involved in taking these kind of decisions. What they fail to do is remember writing down all these kind of expenses. What I always generally suggest to my clients is compartmentalize your requirements into negotiable requirements and non-negotiable requirements. What are your non-negotiable requirements? They are all your traditions, cultures, things which mean the most to you and which cannot not done types. Where you can compromise could be on, or where you can negotiate a little would be, or the luxury item of cakes that you go in for, or the kind of firecrackers that you're going in, the kind of separate menus which at times go on some certain tables. So coming back to what we were discussing on the budget planning, yes, as a wedding planner, I think each one of us need to take this initiative of making aware our clients right beginning on what could be the expenses that could come on board with them. So, Mahendraji, I would like to ask you, Nistry, what is your take? How do you say that, how do you avoid blowing off the budgets? Because, see, 90% of the things don't come with a fixed MRP in our industry. So there are chances that, when we are planning an event and when the client is wanting the luxuries and the beauty beyond their own boundaries, how do we avoid blowing their budgets in such scenarios? Mahendraji, I would like to hear from you. I think we are facing some network issues there. Meanwhile, just as Mahendraji gets back, Ariel, would you like to take it up for me?
Sorry, do you mind repeating?
Once again, once again,
Yes, we can hear you now.
it's a requirement basis. Okay, if you're looking at a hotel, can, well, okay. The kind of requirement you want to budget, have a choice of, you have a 4-star, a 5-star, you have a luxury kind of a resort, luxury kind of, you have different varieties, different choice of your hotels and resorts. Okay, what kind of a category you want to go, and along with what kind of a menu you want to choose. So where will budget fit in when you have a particular budget, a fixed budget? When you're looking at a fixed budget, very difficult a planet to decide, because you're cut down and you cut down on activity and give importance to your food, your basic deco, and the venue. This is what we can look at.
We get it, Mahendra ji. It is very necessary to understand, just like how Ariel had mentioned, that you need to keep a check on the reality versus the requirement. Staying within the budget. So, what do you say, Ariel? Your point on this?
Sorry, I missed the whole questions. Do you mind repeating it again?
Ariel, when we are planning our wedding, there are chances that towards the planning process we may blow up the budgets. The client requirements may vary, the expectation may change. We were something which is even more beautiful. How do we try not to blow out of proportion from the budgets?
I think that we need to figure out what's just prioritize everything, see what's more important for the bride or for the groom or even for the parents. And wedding is about compromising, for the family, for the bride and groom as well. So prioritize what's important first, and then goes on with the second and third, what's less more important. Then we can work on the budget. So that's what my take is.
Shreya, would you like to add something here? If Mahendraji and Will has missed out on any points, especially when it comes to logistics, people do not generally plan and keep a budget for logistics. As what I've noticed, it is we who make them aware that yes, this will be an added expenditure, and they wonder, "Ki, why do we need to pay this kind of an amount?"
So basically, for any kind of weddings and any kind of people that we have come across, like you clearly mentioned, decor, venue, and all of these things are which we clearly look at. We do not see the smallest things which are required, which are a necessity. Uh, which is one of your logistics, one is your guest experience, because in weddings I think people usually come only for an experience and for food. Totally. And if that is something that goes for a toss, I think your entire wedding is a no show. It's like a ruckus. So people do not account any of these things. Cars, coaches, or your entire hospitality team, how well communicated, how well spoken, and how well presentable they are. They still want to get into the teams which come at a lower cost, but what they do not understand yet is that the quality will always matter over the quantity. So yeah, these are the things I think we really need to tell people when you come as consultant on boards and not as wedding planners. We really tell the clients that hey, these are the things that you should also look at, because they take the maximum amount of your money later, not now.
I agree to you. There's a saying that goes, the God lies in the details. As we are the ones who are well aware of what are the costs, what arrangements, how can you customize the client's need within our own itineraries as well. And people shun away from taking this kind of an expert opinion from experts like who are there today on the screen. We have experts who actually can plan in advance, make you aware of your expenses, make sure that you are not blowing out of proportion. But at any point of time, I always advise my clients be prepared. Like Ariel says, 25%. Even we do mention that we say 15 to 25% pop-ups are expected at any point. So be prepared for it, and we always allocate a percentage to each category. This is the kind of percentage of the when you're doing a budget estimation, we put it in percentage, not in the number terms, because in way times percentages gives a overall view. It's just a rough view of what it could be like. So having said that, there are places where we as event planners can also help the clients in controlling uh, the budgets. It all starts with expectations which we all follow, that we are trying to deliver what more than what promised, and that is where we need to keep a tab on certain things. So staying under the budgets without compromising on quality of the wedding, very very important. At times we have very very hard negotiating clients, wherein at times, so Shreya just mentioned that it is necessary to quantity. How do you help clients who are not so very overwhelmed when it comes to quantity, quality? They're okay, like but you know that if you do anything below is going to hamper the quality, especially for the planners that we give. So Ariel, what do you do at that kind of a time when your quality might get hampered? How do you control your budgets with elements at that moment?
I will first see whatever is replaceable, with low for the for the price that we're asking for, what's replaceable. Not necessarily, exactly the same price, but then within the reasonable range. What's the substitute for decors? For instance, if you're looking for a tree, what are the substitute items that you can replace the tree? Um, that's for decor part, but for whatever, I will first to see what is replaceable instead of the most, like the highest quality, and then usually I would discuss with the client as well, because what we know and what other people actually attend the weddings are totally feel the feelings are different. When I see, for instance, a centerpiece, it's oh, it's beautiful, but we know it's expensive, but the guest who are attending the wedding, do they know the difference? Sometimes a beautiful centerpiece they thought is provided by the venue. So, I think that to explain that kind of scenarios and items and discussions is very needed when you talk to the clients. So, when we're spending the money, especially you're managing the budget, you have to see what's important for the clients, but also at the same time for the guests, because you don't want to spend money when people can't see it. I think that goes both for Indian and Chinese. So yeah, that's my 2 cents of ideas. Yeah.
Mahendra, I've seen quite a few of your wedding days which you've done. How do you manage sticking to the budgets without compromising on the pools? How do you?
I mean,
What
that's the most difficult thing any planner will. That's I think that's the most difficult any planner would like to answer, because see, every wedding is very personal, and we almost get married to weddings, and then we start building a relationship. Then that's how we convince a client we are part of, married to families, so we become part of the family. We try to see how to convince clients and to ask them. We try to educate them. Basically, just we try to educate them, tell them, why do you need 300 people? Because now, yes, bring 150 to my budget. We do brainstorming. We basically educate them, do a brainstorming, and tell 300 people. Let's do a 150, 200. What is it based? What is it in this? Where there's no wedding. See how we play. Once you know your guest list has come down, your FMB comes down, you still have to play with. Tell the client, this is what in your budget I can rework. And we educate him to make sure he understands what we try to sell. And then you know your priority. You know what kind of priorities are looking at. Like I think Ariel was talking about the deco part of it. You have deco within the venue. Why? Why do you need that kind of a budget? Yeah.
I always feel that our clients treat us as ninjas for the budgets. Like throw anything at us, and the wedding planners will, manage to pull us and fight it back. So to a certain extent, where the horror starts from there actually, where they're expecting a lot from us, and um, what is important is do not understand very much that we enjoy certain vendor relationships and vendor management. Our vendor management is extremely good, and that is where certain small sacrifices um, from the clients end, just like okay, why do we need to go with 300 when our budget's not permitting that? How about 250? How about making it 200? That that saves us a lot of cost. With F&B, it's your room cost, your logistics is taken care of, the giftings are taken care of. It is a lot. So we need to understand what is important for the client, what is their priorities, and then slash kindly budgets of the clients. I would also like to ask you, there are always do's and don'ts. Okay, when we certain do's and don'ts when we're working on certain venues, the venues have their own do's and don'ts. As planners, we have our do's and don'ts. So, what are the don'ts when it comes to the big day? So, I'll start with Shreya first. Shreya, what are the first few don'ts that you focus on?
I think the don'ts that we focus on is how to not avoid the detailing at every stage of every event or every wedding that we do. Because if you have not done your detailings, you will not know what is next. And the moment you do not know how what the details are, you end up screwing up a big day for someone who's it's just gonna be for one single time, because weddings do not happen like you do not repeat it, right? It's not a shoot that you are doing in which you can do have a retake of. So that is one of the biggest don'ts that we avoid. We always try to communicate to the client, please, this is what is possible, this is not possible. We need to practically and logically think about things. The moment you start saying yes for everything that the client says, there is no you can't take a step back, and at the end the client is going to go home unsatisfied. So these are the few things that we really look at.
I'm not able to hear you.
One, and don't be overconfident. Don't be overconfident in your work, and don't overcommit on your work. I said, don't
get it. Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
One,
don't be.
Yes, we can hear you, Mahendra.
Confident. Don't overcommit.
But over deliver always. What is your list of don'ts when it comes to big day?
I think that I don't know if it comes to.
These are the two I would like to don't commit and don't work on. And do. Yeah, you're trying to be confident.
Okay. Ariel, I would now next like to hear about your list of.
I think that with my don't will possibly come into don't wait for anything for last minute. You know, there are. I mean, we do wonders if we're wedding planners, but then we're also not magicians. We cannot make things, you know, come in right away and disappear right away. So usually I would tell them to don't wait for everything for last minute, especially on the wedding day. Just, you know, be prepared, especially when you have a budget issue. So I don't know if this comes into different people, but then I usually have people with unlimited budget when it comes to very rush time. So usually, like, you know, very short in time. They don't care about money. They just want to make it happen. So that's the type of person who usually with big budgets. But people would take longer to plan the weddings usually have very manageable budgets. So it's very important to tell them that don't be like, you know, like the gentleman was saying, don't be overconfident and don't just kind of like, don't wait till everything till the last minute. Just don't test your patience. Don't test anything. Yeah. That's my big don'ts.
As a wedding planner myself, I also sit with the client and, you know, we share that exhaustive list of that may cost money. And from there, we start working on narrowing down the list to include what is realistically affordable. Everything is shared in advance according to that. So, as wedding planners, we are always prepared, always in the planning phase, and we are always prepared for what might come up next. And check on the traditional and non-traditional ways of spends that came. And one thing that we always suggest to our client is, as your big day is arriving, stop complaining about the wedding expenses. We are prepared for it by now. It is only when the last minute changes or hazards come up that is where a little bit of sweat comes around. But we tell them that let not this wedding cost affect any kind of a relationships or stress you out, because the wedding days are the most important days for the client and their families, and more so even for the guests, because the experience gets spoiled at that moment. As much the planning could be stressful, we always ensure that the perspectives are right in place. So just as we rightly use the words of overcommitment, over expectations, under deliveries, over deliveries, we make sure that the expectations are set right from the beginning. The venues are selected accordingly, the decor is selected accordingly, your artist managements, your trousseaux, your uh, wedding gifts, attires, jewelry, everything is in place accordingly. As we know that there could be a last minute rush for certain elements, and that is where we need to totally avoid those kind of rushes where the splurging starts, the splurging and overspending starts. Shreya, have you ever had a moment where you are taken aback suddenly? There's just one moment which comes and, oh my God, how do I handle this situation? Have you ever come across this kind of a moment?
I think in the profession that we are, we always go through such moments at every step of a wedding. But yes, there have been moments like this where it's like, okay, there's no way now. But well, we are not magicians, but we do wonders and we do find out a way ahead to make it streamlined, to iron out the things that are bothering people. So, yes, of course, all of us have that, and we have had it too.
Okay, and but we are equipped to face any kind. And Ariel, any challenging moments that you've had, and your ability to face it, or any like, no, I cannot do this anymore.
I constantly have that feeling every day. So that's not something that just goes away. I have that kind of feeling every day. But you conquer your fear and you conquer your worries, and then you keep going on because we, as much we hate our job, we still love our job. So yeah, that happens to me a lot. Um, I think the challenging part, because we mainly do destination weddings. Sometimes the vendors doesn't get what you're trying to express in any ways. It doesn't really matter how graphically details that you listed in your all your requests is. Sometimes they just don't get it, and communication takes so much time from our end when we're doing wedding planning. So sometimes you just have to be really patient and then just keep on going and asking them, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Do you understand? Are you sure you understand? Because I'm sure they have like million things in their mind as well. So keep reminding. You have to be annoying, like to a point, to get your job done. And then you're annoying at the same time, because come on, how many times you have to repeat this? But that's what the job requires. So yeah. And then not just to the vendor, to the hotels, to the venue, and then also to the clients. And then you just have to keep reminding yourself. And then I think that wedding planners have amazing memories. Like I sometimes don't even think I remember what my personal life is, but then when it comes to professional, wow, like I remember everything, every little details, when we say this and when we had this meeting. Like it's amazing. So yeah.
I know here certain points I do share with you, Ariel, and certain the beg to differ. I always have enjoyed the process so much thoroughly that I never felt that I'm an annoyance to anybody. If they feel it, it's their feeling. I can't control their feelings, but I've always enjoyed this process, and I like the point which you really mentioned that we have this amazing memory. I think we come with those magic wands in our hands that we remember it all, we can do it all. Don't worry, we are here, we take care of everything, and then God, we need to just make things appear, disappear, and still within that limited envelope of money that we've got into. I think in the entire wedding process, right? What we've learned is the skill of discussing, negotiating, remembering all the money related issues, be it with our clients, be it with vendors, the expectations that we've set around, and yeah, adventures from there. So, Mandy, have you ever had any such moment? Um, it is like the client says, "No, what you said. This is what you said you will be," and doing that hike up your expense by 10-15%, which was not accounted for earlier. So, how have you handled that kind of a situation?
So we are quite
Mahendra, can I hear?
very clear what our delivery is, and yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I
Anita,
can hear
audible?
you. Yes, please proceed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm very clear in what very clear. I'm very clear in what our commitments are, and everything is detailed, and everything is a written copy. Whether we do a small wedding, a big wedding, a large wedding, or a family wedding, a friendly wedding, everything contracted, and everything is there in paper. So what we deliver more is it's just basically out of love and affection we do it. If not, is a commitment. So we really don't land into any kind of a situation where it's very embarrassing and humiliating for us because you're doing the later discussions with the family. Clear understanding between two parties. I said uh, we get married, so we become a part of the family. So we are very clear on what we do.
Wonderful. Also, this point that that there are certain things that we do out of love and affection, and there are certain that we are expected to do perspective. So, what can be accommodated? Yes, we are most happy to do it, and setting the expectations right. Even we do follow the process of putting everything down on pen and paper, emailing the expected deliverables, what we are committed to, and everything is clear, black and white, and certain can go upfront, and there are changes which can be accommodated. It is always advisable to everyone out there to ensure that your communication is very crisp and clear. That is very, very important to ensure, both not only with the client but also with your vendors. Even the vendors should know from them and how you want it to be done. Coming back to this, there could be some small accidents or incidents which happen on venues, and yes, as even planners, we're always equipped to take. Before we move on to the next set of questions to Ariel and Shreya and Mahendraji, we can go on and talk about our budget plannings and the other part of the elements. I would like to take up certain questions which I see in the Q&A for the panelists out here. Um, Shreya, you had mentioned there's a question from Dhruv. Under the jewelry management, do you also liaise with customs if it's an international destination wedding? So is there kind of some licensing activity if there are destination weddings?
No, we do not look at the customs because every country we go to has different custom rules when it comes to jewelry. And Indian weddings especially have a lot of jewelry that they carry, which none of the customs would usually allow. So only if you have really great ties, like we do in Turkey, if you have something like that, is where we can risk taking it. Otherwise, we prefer not to. Anytime in India or wherever you are based out of, and we do weddings there, and if you have jewelry to be managed so that it doesn't get misplaced on the days of the wedding when you as a family are busy attending all the events, is what we take care of.
Okay, get you, Shreya. So these discussions are in the initial part itself. You make clear, this is what you are not going to put your hands on to. So I think this is what you let the clients know beforehand. And Ariel, there's a question for you from Dhruv again. When are you opening? When are you opening China for Indian destination weddings? We know a few big weddings which happen, Sanyo and at Kunming. So is China this is Dhruv's question?
I think that's the question I want to ask too, because if I can open the border, I would, but I don't run the countries. But we're being very positive. We're thinking about Q4, which is probably around September. The quarantine policy will ease up a little, but there's new waves coming in and out, so we don't know for sure. But being realistic, I think Q1 next year, which is probably after Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is usually January or February, then we will be open. Then everybody can come to China, or Chinese can go everywhere. So yes.
I do understand. We always say India is also a beautiful place. We have some beautiful exotic venues where we can have destination weddings. Yes, we are open to cross-border collaborations as well, and that is what all these forums bring us about. Mahendraji, Mahendraji, I don't see any other question and answer questions for us in the Q&A. If there's anything, I would request the audience to please put it up so that we can take it up. Meanwhile, Mahendraji, Ariel, and Shreya, I would come to each one of you for a closing sentence. So if you have something, please do. We'll start with Ariel.
I just wish we can all have
anything like
yeah, I just wish COVID will be ending soon, but if we can't end it, we have to survive with it. So we just have to try. Yes.
And very well said, Ki. We've never stopped. We've never stopped. Nothing can stop us by thoughts, by body, by physically or mentally. We are always at work mode. So yes, we will keep going, growing better. And Shreya, what would you like to end your sentence with?
I think COVID or no COVID, we are the band from the Titanic who will who will be the last one standing and playing till the time everything is gone. So I think whatever Espousal is doing, bringing everyone from different continents and different countries all together on an international platform, I think that is something really commendable, which they have been doing for the past 3 years. And I wish all the best to them. And people now who are planning their weddings, they know who to go to when it comes to China or India.
Wonderful. Well said. Yes, the show must go on, and we're always prepared. And would you like to hear from you?
Okay, I think I'd like to wish all of us, okay, and along with Espousal, like bringing this platform. We have so many colors, like it's like one nation. I would say Espousal has now become like one nation, so many colors. Okay, hats off for the great job the whole team has been doing. And I'm able to meet Ariel from China and Shreya. Of course, you have seen me after a long time, so I'm able to entire day. Thank you so much for this.
Yes, I do agree. We are very happy that Espousal has come up with this first ever international platform of things so streamlessly forward and connecting so many of us out here. A lot of applause for doing such a wonderful job, and thanks for creating this platform of connecting so many on various ways where I hadn't known Ariel before this. So now yes, I do know I have a friend across the border also. Having said that, all of us the very best. Vibrancy is the colors. They're all waiting for us and bigger and better always.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for a great panel discussion. I think we all learned a lot about beating the budget blues today, thanks to our amazing panelists.